my screen. I am sharing my screen. PPT shared. Hope you can see that screen. Is that okay? Are you able to see
Yes,
my
sir.
screen? Yeah.
Sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So we can start the session. Okay. So what do you mean by the generations of computers? We already talked about history of computers. So what is that different from generations of computers? Any idea? History and generations. Both are from past, right? So what do you understand from the generations of computers? Any idea? Okay. From this figure, background figure that started from one large machine here, and we are moving to a sequence of changes, and gradually a small handheld device or a laptop or a palm top will be there in the picture, and some mobiles, etc. will be there. That type of technology changes, advancements, okay, or modifications happen throughout a period of from the 20th generation onwards. Okay, so type of computing devices with full-fledged capacity as a computers evolved only in the 20th century. In that last classes, we talked about the history of computers, but computing devices we talked about. There are some tools we can use that as a computing device, but it is not a full-fledged computer. So after that, Charles Babbage analytical engine or differential engine, we have an idea. He give an idea, give a protocol suite, protocol for a full-fledged computer. That way he is called as the father of the computers. Anyway, so from that prototype, more researchers or more mathematicians explored that idea and created a full-fledged computing system that can process information and give out information. Okay, people can give instruction to computer, and computer can, based on the instruction given by the computer, not computer, by the user or the people who are working in the computing field, based on the instruction given by them, the computer can process it and put it as an output. So that type of computing, nowadays we are using that type of computing, is evolved only in the 20th century, not that much back in 19th century. Or all we have machines available, but it is not a computer. We can't say just a computer as it is. So what make it different generations? Okay, so we can start with the 1940s onwards, or the analytical engine. Also, it's a large size machine you need to hold in order to provide a space for that. It will be a physical provision. It will need a large room. We already talked about that. The machines, computing machines, these are not actually made up of electronic parts. But we are moving into generations. We only talked about computers as the definition of the computer. It's an electronic device. It's a machine. It's an electronic machine that processes information, takes input from user, and sometimes the process input and store it and display to the user as output. So from that evolution, that the computer can be evolved from a large sized computing machine to a smaller current generation. Nowadays, we are having a lot of provisions to use computing devices, small handheld devices to small IoT devices we are using nowadays. So that type of conversion from large size machine to very small, minute sized computing devices, that type of sequence of changes, advancements happened in the field of computers is called the generations of computer actually. Okay, any doubt? Anything you want to say? Yeah, Arjun. Yeah, what is happening? Yeah, do you have any doubt? You can ask. Okay. So at that time, the computers, the old time, the first generation or 1950 onwards, we started using full-fledged computing system, but this size is comparatively heavy. To operate it, it is very much difficult to operate by a single person. It is operated by a good mathematical person, good researcher or a scientific person who is more expert in mathematical principles and operations. And also it is that much large, and the circuitry used there was very much complicated, and also the electronic component. We will dive into that in later. So just in that case, better, cheaper, and smaller computer we need to be obtained. That was the challenge that at that time in the 1950s and on, first generation computer faced. How will we made it as a very handheld device or a very efficient device, very reliable device? That was the very much important task that most of the researchers focused on at that time. And then, so we have nowadays we are moved into a 5 generations, and currently we are in the 5th generation of computers. A sequence of changes happened as already taken. So in the time of generation, it implies the technology used by them. Each generation use some technology, and how to improve that technology in means of hardware, software, etc. was the challenge. How to improve that? Okay, the first generation computers used large amount of electronic devices with not that much efficient. It will not be as much effective as the current electronic devices. And softwares at that time, first generation, we don't know any software, just only small level, high. Directly we need to apply programming, binary programming. And after that, we moved into low-level languages, high-level languages like C, C++, then programming, object-oriented concepts, etc. in the software field. Then we need to have a high processing speed for our computing machine. Most of the people are using high-end capable machines, high configuration machines in your home, in your work, etc. So basically, the speed of the processing speed or the RAM capacity, the instructions processed per second, etc., are very much important for a computing device. So that how we need to increase the speed, storage capacity, how to reduce the size of the machine, okay, and how to make it user friendly. These are the very important facts when we say about what is the advancement in the field of computing or hardware. So these are the main things we will be covering in the generations of computing. How the computers from high, large sized machine with difficult to operate, and it will take more time to perform some operations, to a small device with high fast processing speed and less energy wastage, etc. That's a common thing. That is an important factor regarding the generations of computer. That are the technological changes happen in the terms of software and hardware parts of a computer. So we are moving into the first generation computers, and the first generation computer started in 1940s after Charles Babbage invented analytical engine and differential engine. Then only the people got an idea about how we can create a computing device like this. Okay, all part of whole full-fledged machine can be created. Again, it took 120 years. The analytical or the differential engine was made in 1833 or some that period, and it took 120 years to complete a first generation of computing, to make it as a full-fledged computer with a high-end configuration. At that time, it was not that much effective at that time. To create a machine that can perform some operations and calculations, computations, etc. They don't bother about any size or anything. They just invented a machine, how we can make it as a operatable. That was the challenge at that time they faced. So it took 120 plus years to achieve the full-fledged computing machine, and there are computers like ENIAC, UNIVAC, etc. that are in the 1940s 1940s to 1956 period, and this period is called as the first generation of computers. And at that time, mainly the technology they were used is called vacuum tube circuitries and magnetic drums for memory and punch card for input. So basically, definitely at that time they developed, the people, researchers developed their first generation of computer with which have provision to give input by the users. So for input device, they use punch cards. It's a small card, okay, that will be inserted into the computer. And that time, the circuitry or the CPU processing part was done by a electronic device called vacuum tubes. That figure is given here in the right side, bottom part. Vacuum tube is like a small, not that much small, a finger length type of bulb-like structure. It can hold a binary value. It can pass one value on or off that condition. True or false value can be one binary digit can be represented using that. At that time, vacuum tubes are used for circuitry. 1 or 0 can be represented using that. Then for memory capability, they use magnetic drums like storage. For this, they use magnetic drums. Its figure is given here. And these are very much different from current available hard disk or something like that. Okay, secondary storage. In nowadays, we are using hard disk with the HD hard disk. Okay, that hard disk will be having a seek time and something like that. So there will be a head that will move. So we will move into that in later at the time of input devices and output devices and storage device. We explain that in that topic. So in this case, this is a figure is a large magnetic drum, and this will hold some memory capacity. This will be storing some information. And this is very much a machine-like structure, a heavy structure. That's why the computers in first generation computer will be having thousands of vacuum tubes. A small vacuum tube itself will be a finger like size 1 or 2 inch length will be there, and it will produce too much heat as the wastage of energy. So this is not that much reliable at that time. They face a lot of damage for the electronic circuitry, the circuitry of the computer. This is not that much reliable that and the computers will suddenly fail or suddenly damage. The people need to troubleshoot them, and in order to detect the problem happen will took lot of time. The people, they need to, technicians at that time require a lot of time to correct or reconfigure the errors happen in that machine. To find out the errors and make it correct is that much difficult at that time. And it will, again, it will be very much error prone devices at that time because these electronic devices are not much effective or reliable. And magnetic drums, this is a large, heavy structure, and this is rotated, and the data will be available to user. It will be stored in somewhere in the rotation drum, and we need to rotate it. There is a shaft like structure that using that we will be rotating the device. So these are the hardware things they used create first generation computers. Vacuum tubes are for circuitry, like in order to process information, they use vacuum tubes, number of vacuum tubes, thousands of vacuum tubes will be storing. That's why the size of the device become too much heavier. Other than hard vacuum tubes, we need to connect between the vacuum tubes, interconnect all vacuum tubes together, and then we'll be having magnetic drums. We need to connect that also using electronic circuitry. Then in order to take these are all together interconnected, like our current generations. The circuitry is the motherboard. All components are interconnected in motherboard like that. These electronic devices need to be interconnected using large wires at that time. So they need to interconnect. That way it become a large room size machine at that time. In order to hold that device itself, it will take their room structure. And at that time, no programming other than a machine language, no other programming is supported. So punch cards and all will be having numeric values as the input to the computer. And in order to operate it, it will cost a lot of electricity that is very much expensive, this thing. These computer, first generation computers need more electricity, more voltage to operate all electronic on thousands of vacuum tubes, machine. This is a physical machine. Drums operate that will also like a motor. It will lot of time it will take, and it will waste electricity, most of the electricity as the output heat. And there are a lot of disadvantages at that time they faced. It was first electronic device they created, but not to hold this, having some memory provision like magnetic drums also. But it is having a lot of disadvantage, like we already said. It is too bulky in large size. Vacuum tubes are frequently troubled or frequently damaged, and they produce a lot of heat. Like that, there are a lot of problems. So people started exploring it, and advancements are happened in the field of circuitry at that time. Electronic devices are become much more effective, and they created at 1950 or 1948 the first transistor circuits are created. From that, we replaced vacuum tubes with transistors, and that technology changes happened. So we call it as second generation from 1956 to the 1963. This period is important. So moving from one generation to another generation is because of technology changes happened. So that technology change, main technology change happened from moving from the first generation to the second generation is only because of the transistor, the invention of transistors. So the transistors are much smaller in size compared to vacuum tubes and more effective, less error prone. So it will not produce that much heat output, or it will not damage as easy. Okay, comparing to the first generation vacuum tubes. And instead of magnetic drums, they used smaller structures called magnetic tapes. So magnetic tapes are used for storing or memory. Then moving from that, another technological change is main technological change. The machine language. In order to learn machine language, people need to be more more expert in mathematics. That is the difficulty they face. Though the people need to operate computers. Okay, at that time, first generation need to be mathematically experts at that time. So for common man, that is very much difficult. A local people or a normal people, it will be difficult for operating that type of devices. So that's why the technological changes happened. And in case of languages also, the machine language or binary numbers are moved to assembly language. Scriptic assembly language are used in second generation of computers. And some of the high-level languages, early version of that, like Fortran and COBOL, are emerged at that time, but not that much used in this generation of computers. These are used in this third generations of computing. So the main technological changes happened is transistors, invention of transistors and replacement of vacuum tubes is the main technological change. Then the main advancement is, in order to reduce the size, we have provision to have like magnetic tape like memories. So it is comparatively less size than the magnetic drums. That is another advantage, advancement in the field, hardware field. Then in software field or programming field, we move from binary language or machine language to assembly language. That's very much important. So it is easy to learn by a programmer or a human being. Okay, without that much. So we can code using assembly language. By learning that, a normal man can code using that in a computer. Then this input device and all still be like punch card only. We are not moving from punch card to another one in second generations. The first computers that store instruction in their memory, because there is something called some stored programming machine. We already covered that in our last class, I think. You already get an idea. Stored program computer or stored program concept was introduced in this period by John von Neumann architecture. So that you need to go through it. Okay. And the speed in this case, at the last first generation computers will operate at a speed of milliseconds, and now it is moved into much more faster microsecond range. The instructions are performed. One instruction can be processed in a microsecond of time. That's a very much advancement, faster processing speed and technology improvement, reducing the, so the some of the disadvantages we covered overcome and second generation from the first generation. And these are the examples, IBM 1920. So IBM are the major hardware inventors or creators, manufacturers at that time. IBM was the first type of computers, human friendly computers or commercial computers are developed by IBM. There are a lot of series of IBM computers available at that time, second generation and first generation, they started that. These are one of the first manufacturers of computers. So again, there are some problems. So the advantages are also there. From moving from one first generation to second generation, we'll be having a lot of advantages. Size reduced considerably because of the evolution of these transistor circuits and magnetic tapes that have very small size comparing to all other vacuum tubes and magnetic drums. So processing speed will become microseconds instead of milliseconds, and they are very much reliable because of these transistors will be much less error prone compared to vacuum tubes. And there are still some problems they faced in the circuitry, and they have quickly heated. Comparing to vacuum tubes, it is much more efficient, but they also, these transistor circuits, these computing circuits are much fastly heated and not that much reliable at that time. So we need to make it that more advantage. Okay, how to make it more efficient? That is a research, and we are moving into that. The maintenance problems are still there, so we are moving into that. And in this generation, the third generations, so very great advantage was the achievement as introduced, the miniaturing of circuits. Okay, so miniaturizing. Anyone heard about that? Miniaturizing? Any idea? So very great achievement in the field of computing, computers. IC, integrated circuits. Integrated circuits are the miniaturized forms of circuit. What do you mean by this? Miniaturizing. Transistors were miniaturized and placed on silicon chips. So it is nothing but it is a lot of many number of thousands or millions of number of small transistors are put together and created a integrated circuit or IC. So miniaturizing means we are reducing the size. Gradually, very minute type of transistors are created. Very minute type of. Okay, we can't see that using the naked eye, I think. For example, in a small 1-inch IC can hold lakhs or millions of small transistor circuits inside that. So this is the image, sample image that is given here is a chip, IC chip. This will be holding thousands of transistors inside. Okay, this will perform as that much effective. So 1000 means one transistor can hold a one binary number, 1 or 0. Like that vacuum tubes also. But the gradual achievement was from vacuum tube to transistors, the size is reduced and the energy efficiency is also increased. But both vacuum tube and transistors can only hold a single binary value. But we are moving into a miniaturized circuit called IC, integrated circuit, that integration of more number of transistors. A single IC chip can hold 100 or lakhs, we already explained, transistors, and the size is already comparatively very much less, very much a 1-inch and 1-inch size of this IC chip can hold thousands or lakhs of circuits, transistors, or thousands or lakhs of binary numbers. Okay, binary digits can be represented using an IC chip. So this is the processing unit. IC become the processing unit in third generation computers starting from 1964 to 1971. So and the first the input devices other than the punch card concept. Okay, we are using that fundamental input device and fundamental output device. The keyboard and monitors were introduced in third generation, and the use of user-friendly operating systems. Okay, support was introduced here. The MS-DOS and those concept, Microsoft DOS created their operating system. Then Apple Macintosh was introduced in that period. This all introduced in this period with some low-end operating system. At that time, it is very much great achievement to interface between user and computer, and the high-level computing languages, programming language was introduced, and using that, with the help of these, the commercial organization with lot of employees can work. Lot of people will be having effective use of computers. Commercial organization purchase this type of computers, and they use this in their industries, because these computers are more user friendly because of this operating system and the input output devices. It is easy to use. It is handled by common man. In the first generation and second generation, this is not, the computers are not used by common man, only by expert mathematicians or expert skilled persons. But from third generation onwards, these computers are intended for common persons or organizations. So commercial computers are invented or started introduced to the market in the period of 1964 to 1971, and some of the examples are IBM 360 series and CDC machines. And the gradual processing speed capability is moved from microsecond to nanosecond range, the high speed. Okay, so these are the advantage. So we are moving into IC circuit. So a small circuit can have more work as compared to second generation, first generation. The size is comparatively very much lesser, the 100 times lesser. Okay, very small handheld, not handheld, it can be placed in a desktop machines are involved in that type of period. Okay, it can be operated by a single person without knowing that much in mathematically skilled people. Okay, high level programming language like COBOL, Fortran, C, etc. are evolved in that period. So nanoseconds of fast processing is applicable in this period. These are the very technology achievements in third generation is considered as the emergence of full-fledged computing, small handheld in the user-friendly computers. These are the user-friendly computers introduced in third generation computer. Again, there are a lot of technology changes and happened, and these third generation computers are having some difficulties or disadvantages, like ICs are sophisticated, which means IC circuits will contain more number of transistors, but if some transistor is damaged, it is very much not able to solve that problem. It is sophisticated, complex. Can be a small circuit, but it is somewhat difficult to perform operation, the correct error corrections. That was the problem they faced. But a lot of achievements. ICs are very small in size, and computer become this bigger size desktop devices. Improved performance very much. The processing and production costs become very much cheaper. The size reduced because of that. And a lot of advantages are in third generation compared to first generation and second generation. The third generation is the considered as the very much advancements in computing. So moving into the fourth generations. Okay. So again, the introduction of microprocessor. Okay, the microprocessing units are available. Comparing from ICs, we are moving into microprocessors. So microprocessor computers are evolved with time, and will be having the capability of multiple program can be executed in computer. Multi-programming or multi-processing concepts are evolved in this period, and that LSI and VLSI, large-scale integration of circuits. The miniaturizing of circuit. Large-scale integration means millions of integrated, thousands and millions of integrated circuits were put together. So again, these integrated circuits were grouped together and created microprocessor. A microprocessor is the collection of millions or thousands of IC chips. With what technology they are using? They are using LSA. If they are using large scale integration LSA, then there will be thousands of IC chips inside that particular microprocessor. If that is a microprocessor, is a LSA microprocessor. If that is a VLSI, very large scale integration, it can hold millions of IC chips in that microprocessor. So the lot of gradual size can be comparatively less, and the processing speed become very much active, and there were billions built into single chips. Okay, so Intel started creating their chips at that time. 4004 chip developed in 1971, and started using these type of chips. Intel and other companies were started using this kind of microprocessors, having many number of IC chips inside that, located all components of the computer. It can store, the processor can have all together like a motherboard. They created this kind of Intel chips to be having memory, input output device controls, etc. in a single CPU unit, central processing unit. CPU will be there, memory will be there, input output units can all perform using that single microprocessing unit. And the high level languages are all evolved in this period. Okay, C and C++ concepts are evolved in this period. And in third generation computer, we are having operating system, but we don't have that graphical user interface support and mouse concept. We have the input device like keyboard and the output device monitor in third generation, but we have the provision to have GUI support, graphical user interface, and the mouse introduced in this period. So this is commonly used by easily used by human beings, okay, without that much knowledge in computing. They also know user-friendly devices are started, and personalized machines are also started in this period. Daily purpose or personalized machines are started producing in this 4 generations onwards. So because of this achievement, large-scale integration and very large-scale integration, these are the very much important technology changes. With that, we have invented the microprocessors. So microprocessor is nothing but the miniaturized form or integrated forms of many number of IC chips. So these concepts need to be clear. That technology changes. What are the technology changes in case of that processing unit or the circuitry? So from first generation, we are using vacuum tube. In second generation, we shifted to transistors. Then transistors to IC in third generation. From that, ICs to microprocessor in fourth generation. And still we are using microprocessors, and the technology in terms of integration, large scale integration, very large scale integration, and now moving into fifth generation, ultra large scale integration is there. Like that, more number of integrated circuits are put together. That is meant by very large scale integration, ultra large scale integration. We are making it more number of ICs. We are miniaturizing the circuit size. Okay, IC size or microprocessor size. We are reducing size of the microprocessor. That is miniaturizing the circuits. So we'll be having this concept clear, I think. High-level programming language, GUI support, mouse, handheld device are evolved. First type of daily purpose, personal-based machines. Okay, were invented in this period, 4 generations. So moving into the final or first generation computers, we will be having very ultra large scale integration, and there are a lot of achievements. Currently we are moving into that field, fifth generation. The very much important thing is artificial intelligence. People are moving into artificial intelligence. Okay, so robotics and those concepts people are moving into. Actually, a computer is not able to process without human interactions, without human instructions. So how it can learn by itself? A computer can learn by itself, like human beings. Human beings are learn from their mistakes. Okay, and they can feel, they can express, but these are not achieved in computers. computers cannot work without the instruction of a particular operator, human operator. We need to give instruction in, like in case of programs as programs, or we need to give softwares ready for working computers. But there are some machine learning concept, deep learning concept, and artificial intelligence. With that, we have started creating robots and artificial intelligence devices. With that, we have achieving the aim to create a self-learnable machine. From mistakes, he can, like a child learning from his first step, okay, start walking. He suddenly falls very lot of times, and how to make it a perfect step walk will be taking a lot of time to learn by himself, the child itself. This kind of learning is needed in computers also. That is the fifth generations and beyond. Okay, from 1980 to current generation and moving into the future, we are aiming to achieve that kind of a machine, a computer with all capabilities as a human. He can think, he can express his feelings, he can learn from his mistakes, etc. This is the field of AI, artificial intelligence. And the technology, with the help of a lot of hardware device, GPU, processors, ultra large scale integration processors. So we'll be having billions of IC chips integrated in a particular microprocessor, and these are called ultra large scale integration. And the concept of core processors, i7, i9. So there will be having a single processing unit will be having number of cores depending on the which generation they are using, core i5 or i9. So i3 and i4, i5, i3, i5, i9, i7, those concepts will be there. So these are all core processing technologies. Multiple number of cores and threads can be there. So we are moving into small minute devices with IoT, handheld devices with Internet of Things. So a small device can be performing operation calculations. Example of that can be a watch that can monitor your health details like deep blood sugar. Okay, those things can be monitored, and this will be providing some alerting to your health related issues. So there are like that. There are a lot of IoT device, Internet of Things, and there are high-end capabilities of graphic processing units or graphic cards available in this period. They introduced this in this period, and from that first generation, we gradually achieved into a generation of computers where people can use computers with their access computing, all access computing powers or computing infrastructure in a small handheld device, okay, PDU. Okay, so that is the advanced technology improvement happened in generations. When you say about a generation, it is the advancements in case of technology, the hardware, software, and efficiency, energy efficiency, the size, etc. will be achieved a large, and still we need to go further using, there are some suits available to create your own computers like Arduino and Raspberry Pi. There are a lot of small computing technologies like are available to create IoT devices or your own computer with low cost. So computers are becoming low cost or cheaper. The computing power become unimaginable within very minute seconds or picoseconds, or that range, 10 raised to minus 20, or that much range of processing within that seconds, the instruction will be executed by the computer and you will get an output. That type of fast processing capabilities are achieved, and still the evolution of core processing and multi-threading computing technologies, multiprocessing and multitasking. So there are a lot of advancement in the field of computer industry. So we are lucky to be in this part of the computers. We have started thinking about the artificial intelligence, and you are all have the provision to learn artificial intelligence as a new courses from different online resources and all. So this is happened with online courses like AI, deep learning, machine learning. These are all evolved in this after within a period of 5 years. So people who studied in 2005 or after 2005 to 2015 will not have that provision to learn AI or deep learning or machine learning in their syllabus or in their online materials will not be available. Now you will be having, as 2020 batch of students, you will be having lot of resources or lot of online courses, okay, will be available to you to learn at AI or machine learning or all the sort of research going in math computing field. Okay, so this is a time you can improve your skills and also learn something new in this field, hardware or software field. This will help you great. Robotics and all those things are very much related to computers. So this was very much evolution will be happen. We can think after 5 years we'll be having everywhere will be having some application of robots or autonomous car, autonomous vehicles will be there. Okay, automatic type of devices will be there. Computing devices are all automated, and other than computing device, all other home purpose devices like fridge or fan can be automated. Whenever we need to have a condition to on your home applicant, it will automatically on based on the situation or environment. That type of technologies are evolved. So these now the digitization also helped us a lot because of this COVID time. The internet and its applications are very much in this field also. So from 1990 onwards, the first network started by US military for the purpose called ARPANET, and we only took 30 years to achieve gradually improvements, only 30 years of advancement in the field of the internet concept. And now we are having all capability. A lot of internet services are available from starting from the mailing service. Now we will be having social networking service. So we'll be having online streaming, e-governance, e-commerce, etc. Many services are available within that short span of 30 years. You cannot imagine this type of technological change in any other science or any other commerce, any other field. This is happened only in computing field, not in mechanical engineering, not in civil engineering. Without a computer or computing device, the current generation cannot survive a single day without looking into computer monitor or mobile phone. You can't do anything. In order to book something, in order to travel from one place to another, you will book your a ticket online. So this online facility, electronic facility, all internet without a computing device is nothing. So we cannot think any minute or millisecond time, okay, minute time without thinking about computer. When you are dreams sometimes you will be thinking about this thing. So that type of magnificent achievements or that type of tremendous achievements are happened in the field of computing from first generation is telling about 1940 some range, but 1950 to 2020 only took 70 years to create a small handheld device, minute IoT device with all capabilities of a computer. So talking about the internet, it only took 30 years to achieve all these things. So a lot of technological improvement will be happening in coming years also. We can expect that also, and think about that in your mind. Just have an idea about the changes that we need to have in the industry or computing industry. And you can also contribute to society as some of these research and focus on the application of AI, deep learning, etc. You can contribute that, and also the security of all those things. The devices is handled by automatic car, automatic, all things become self operatable, okay, automatic. So the data is also very much precious nowadays. So every day a vehicle is traveling, automatically moving from one place to another using the traffic control mechanisms and GPS locations, etc. We need to connect to internet, and data will be sending from that machine to the internet or cloud. So that data can be hacked by the hackers. At that time, the security is very much important in automatic vehicles and automatic robots, etc. If somebody hacked a robot, that robot can work with their intention. That will damage the owner's privilege or purposes. Though safety is one of the important things, then data analysis, data science, there are a lot of research-oriented new advanced fields in computing. As computer science persons, you can explore these things in your further higher studies, or you can get into that in your industrial skill development and all. And this is the five generations of computers, and we'll be ending this session with this generation, and we already covered history and generation. So hope you all have the clear idea about the history and generations of computers. So if you have any doubt regarding these things, still any doubt regarding your course till now, you can ask now, or you can post it in your chat box. Anything related to any small queries you can ask now. So this table gives much easy idea. By looking into this, we will get some easy idea to have all generations. Okay, the advancements or some of the things are noted here. I took it from resources, internet resources. Anyway, go through the PPTs and lectures, video lectures available in your resources, class material. And I hope you will be having next class, we will be having a class test regarding history of computers and generations of computers. Be ready with all ideas clear. If you have any doubt regarding anything, you just ping me with some messages. Okay. Any doubt? Do you have any doubt? Yeah.
No, sir.
Okay. So next class there will be a small quiz, online quiz. Okay. Be ready with all those things clear. We'll be having 20 questions, or within 10 minutes we will conduct. Okay. We'll only give 10 minutes time. You will be having 20 questions. So that much effective type of courses we need to be conducted. So small portions are there. Only history and generations will be there. And after that online test, we will be moving into the next portions, the hardware devices, and that will be effective, I think.